Dear ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tilkin. I'm the chair of board of FEST, and you received the invitation for this evening with information on the Creative Europe program, the European Creative Europe program. I will start by giving a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation on some elements of this program, not all of them, because it's a very big program. And then I will give the floor to Paola Balbi, Raccontami una storia, because they had in the last call, or no, a couple of years ago, they had a cooperation project, and the cooperation projects are, let's say, the bulk of what I'm going to say this evening. So I'm going to start and share the screen. Okay, here we are. All right, everybody can see this, I suppose? Yes? Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. So I'm going to talk about the Creative Europe opportunities for storytelling or for the storytelling sector. And so first of all, wait a minute. Yeah, okay, I'm going to leave it like that because I have this bar okay. So we're talking about the new Creative Europe program, and you see the dates there, 2021 till 2027, because the European Commission works with 7-year programs. It's the same as Erasmus+. This is about funding actions supporting the European cultural and creative sectors. It's a funding program for culture, as Erasmus+ is a funding program for education. Yes, but this one is for culture. The deadline for applications for the Erasmus+ program was 20th of May. And so Creative Europe is a bit later because all programs are late. Or originally it started on the 1st of January 2021, and it will last till the 31st of December 2027. But yes, the call is late, but okay, we'll see what comes out of it. First of all, I think it's very important that we're that we indicate who are we talking about, for what kind of organizations, for what kind of people is this program. And then they use the term cultural and creative sectors. And the term cultural and creative sectors, there is a clear definition. I'm not sure if it's clear, but I mean, there is a written definition in the call. And it says means all sectors whose activities are based on cultural values and or creative expressions. The activities may include the development, the creation, the production, the dissemination of cultural and artistic or other creative expressions, as well as education or management related to them. So we're talking about creative activities, artistic activities, but so the development, the creation, the production, etc., but also the management that deals with these activities, or the education and training that deals with these activities. So it is quite large. Then the next question is, what kind of people is this for? So now we have defined the sector, what we're looking at. They talk about legal entities. So for private or public legal entities. So natural persons are not eligible unless self-employed. So we're talking about legal entities, but I immediately have to place that in the right context. We're talking about projects, and we're talking about applications. If you want to be an official partner in an application, you have to be a legal entity. So a natural person can never be a partner, an official partner in a project, but a natural person, of course, can take part in activities organized by a project, or can be an expert or a storyteller that is engaged in an activity in a project. I hope that you realize the difference. So this definition for private or public legal entities is for official partners in the project. But natural persons can take part in activities organized by the consortium of the project. Then another very important question, what countries are participating in this program? Well, we're talking about the member states, these are the EU member states, and the Creative Europe participating countries. We have the EU member states, and we have several countries that have an agreement with the European Union, an agreement for cooperation in the cultural program, as it exists for cooperation in the education program in Erasmus+. So here, the member states and the countries that have an agreement, and they expect that the countries that have an agreement with the EU concerning the Creative Europe program will roughly be the same as in the previous program, in the previous period, 2014 to 2021. I immediately have to say, because it will be a question anyway, is the UK included, yes or no? The answer is, at this stage, no. So the UK, after the Brexit, is a country that is supposed to create or to arrange an agreement with the European Union concerning the Creative Europe program, and they haven't done that so far. And as far as the expectations are, they are not going to. So it's not an ongoing procedure to get an agreement. So at this moment, the UK is not moving in that respect. What does this mean for UK people? That means that UK organizations, UK legal entities, as it is called, cannot be an official partner in the projects in this program. Yes, but UK individuals, UK people can, of course, take part in activities of projects where there are other partners. I'm very sorry, this is the situation after Brexit, but I hope that the distinction is clear. And then the coordinator, so the coordinator of the project must have a minimum of 2 years legal status. That's a requirement for be a legal coordinator. Yes. So this is, I hope that it is clear for everybody, what are we talking about and what sector is this? Who is included in this sector? And it's quite broad. Okay. If we look at the funding, so here you see that at this moment, the funding, the money that is involved, the budget, is 2.44 billion euro for 7 years. This is not big. So the culture program has never been a big program. It is a lot smaller than, for instance, the educational program, like than Erasmus+. But we have to say that there is a 50% increase compared to the previous period. So it is a lot more than it used to be, but it's still not much. Culture, or we all know that is never a big thing, but we have to admit it increased considerably. Also, of course, because of the pressure of the European Parliament and because of the situation. Everybody knows that the cultural sector is hit very hard by COVID and the situation in the last 2 years. And so also I have to say that the importance of culture, the value of culture for society is recognized now more, hence the budget has increased considerably. There are 3 big strands within this program, the Creative Europe program. There is culture, there is media, and there are a combination of the 2 cross-sectoral. So there is the cross-sectoral strand. Culture has roughly 33% of the budget. Media is the biggest one, roughly 58% of the budget. And cross-sector, the combination it's 9%, as you can read. Culture is more for cultural, or is for cultural organizations, but not the audiovisual sector. Media is uniquely for the audiovisual sector. So the biggest money is for the audiovisual sector. And that part of the program is called media. Culture, but we have to do with what we have. The 33% is for cultural and creative organizations. And then, of course, we have cross-sectoral. Let's have a look at culture. So culture, the program for Europe's cultural and creative sector. There are a number of horizontal, it's quite big, and there are many actions there in this program. So you see the horizontal actions, the cooperation projects, we're going to talk about that, the networks, the platforms, and the individual mobility. So we're going to talk about that part of the program, of the culture program. But there are some specific actions within that program as well. Sector-specific support, for instance, in music, literature, architecture, cultural heritage, design, and fashion. And there are special actions and initiatives. You probably know most of them, like funding for the European cultural capitals. So this moving cultural capital in Europe, the European Heritage Label, the European Cultural Heritage Days organization, the Europa Nostra Awards, and the European prizes, for instance, for architecture, literature, music, and film. So this all belongs in the culture program. But we are going to talk about the horizontal actions, the top 4 on this slide. If we look at the media, then you see, so this is for the audiovisual sector. And here we see it's structured in a different way. I can't help it. So here they talk about content. The content is encouraging collaboration and innovation in creation and production. Business, promoting business innovation, competitiveness, scalability, and talents. Audience, strengthening accessibility and visibility of works. And then policy, supporting policy discussion, studies and reports, awareness raising activities. That's the media program. I'm not going to talk about media. So that's for the audiovisual sector. And then there is the combination. Both strands can, and that's the cross-sectoral strand as it is called, and that's more like on policy cooperation, and on news media, supporting policy discussions, studies and reports, awareness raising activities. So that's the cross-sectoral, the 9%. The rest of the evening, sorry, the rest of my presentation, not the rest of the evening, we will spend on culture. And I will talk about the priorities. What are the priorities within culture? And then we have to look at, as I said in the beginning, what's the value, the social value of culture, and there are changes in that. And now we have to see, or we have to admit that so that culture at this moment there is a stronger there is a stronger value. There is more dedicated value to culture in society, but and also in a way a bit of a tool. Culture is also used as a tool. So this social value is expressed, for instance, in the role of culture within for instance, inclusion or diversity or gender equality. So how can we use culture and art and creation for these purposes? Another element that is very important nowadays, that's the challenge, which is now called the Green Deal. That is, how can culture contribute to the Green Deal? How can culture contribute to the challenges we have, for instance, the climate challenge, the sustainability elements, and so on? And there it is said that culture can do that in 2 ways. First of all, that culture can contribute to awareness raising concerning sustainability, Green Deal, climate change, etc. But also that culture should look at a more sustainable approach to culture and art and activities within the sector, meaning, less impact on climate, for instance. Yes. So these are the elements that play an important role. Of course, COVID also has played a very important role in now how people or how the Commission looks at culture. For instance, what we see here, capacity building of artists. How can we help the cultural sector to recover from the COVID disaster, so to speak, or the impact of COVID on the sector? So all these elements play a role in the priorities. And here you see the priorities First of all, reinforcement of the resilience to allow the recovery of cultural operators. And that, of course, is an impact, amongst others, due to COVID. Innovation and joint creations, that innovation can be technological, it can be digitization, but it also can be fighting climate change and those societal dimensions that I mentioned in the beginning. Another priority is co-production, cooperation, mobility of artists, mobility of organizations. And here you see co-production, cooperation, learning and connection of organizations of all sizes that will build capacity, help the circulation of artists and works, give rise to co-production, etc. So this is cooperation of organizations, but also there is capacity building of artists. We'll come later to, for instance, entrepreneurial competences for artists. Yes, we'll come to that later. Capacity building of artists, supporting talents and skills development. And then the last one, scaling up of Europe's cultural and creative sectors. So these are the priorities that are in the program. Then, of course, how is it structured? And there are, I indicated that in one of the previous slides. So there are cooperation projects, there are networks, there are platforms, and there is individual mobility. The biggest part of the money goes to European cooperation projects. And the figure you see, 130, they expect, the Commission expect to approve about 130 of these projects this year in this call. And they have divided these cooperation projects. I mean, there are 3 types of cooperation projects, what is called small, medium, and large. And there are some changes with the previous, compared to the previous program. In the previous program, we had small scale projects and large projects. The medium, they weren't there. And another thing that is an improvement, that is the co-funding. You see there 80%, 70%, and 60%, which was in the past 65% for the small scale projects and 50% for the large scale project. So you see now in the new program, the funding rate is higher. So the contribution of the Commission in the budget is higher than it was in the previous period, and that's quite important, I think. So small scale projects, we need minimum 3 entities from 3 different eligible countries. Yes, so we talked about these legal entities. So 3 entities from 3 different eligible countries. The grant is 200,000 euro maximum. I immediately would like to take a look at the bottom of this slide. A project can last 48 months. So we're talking about a 4-year project. It doesn't have to be 48 months, but it can be 48 months. Yes, so we're talking about a 4-year project in this case. So for the small scale project, 200,000 euro max grant, which represent 80% of the budget. And there is immediately 80% of that 80% as pre-financing once it is approved. And once, I have to say that, what you see in brackets, in case of approved financial capacity of the applicant. Yes, the coordinator. Then there are the medium scale projects. They are bigger in money, considerably bigger, because here we talk about 1 million euro max for 4 years, but you have to be minimum 5 partners in this project, 5 partners from 5 different countries. Also, and this is, you see it goes down, this represents 70% of the budget. The large scale projects, then we're talking about 2 million euro max, representing 60% of the budget. But there you have to be a consortium of minimum 10 partners from 10 different eligible countries. And here you see that the pre-financing is 40% and 40%, and there is an interim report in order to get the second 40%. Yes, so that's how it works. That's how these European cooperation projects are structured. The money now, I have to say, are lump sums, which is also a difference that was not the case in the previous program. In the previous program, it was really money. You had to prove all expenses. You needed an audit. You needed a bookkeeper. You needed to keep all the tickets, all the invoices, etc. All that is gone in the new program. Here we work with lump sum grants, and even if I compare it with the Erasmus Plus program, also in Erasmus Plus we work with lump sums, but there we have the lump sums are prefab lump sums. There you have, let's say, 500 euro for a travel. You have 250 euro or 240 euro per day for salary costs. There everything is pre-directed. Here the lump sums are open. So it's the applicant and the partners who decide how much a travel will cost, how much an activity will cost, what the salary rate is, etc. Of course, the Commission can say, oh, this is too much, we will reduce it. But anyway, so there are no pre-dedicated lump sums. The whole thing, you create your budget, this is the lump sum, the European Commission will assess it, and they will agree or not agree, and they will come back to you then. So it's a lump sum grant, but the important message here is you don't need to prove your costs anymore. The only thing you have to prove is that you have done your activities, that you have done what you promised in the application. That's what you have to prove. The cost of that is decided within the application. If you have done what you promised, then you will get the money as promised, as agreed in the application. Another thing that is also special here, within Creative Europe, an applicant, the coordinator of a project, can only apply for one project in one call. But you can be a partner in as many projects as you like, but you can only be one coordinator. You can only be one applicant as a coordinator. So these are some specific elements that are in the Creative Europe program. Yes?
There's one question from
Yes.
Tim about the audit. So we're working with lump sums now, and is there still an audit necessary?
In any case, you have to keep everything for the following 5 years. So there always can be an after project audit. Yes, that's still the case as it is in Erasmus Plus. Yes, you can be audited afterwards, but it's not standard. So I'm talking about the reporting, and the reporting is a reporting about the activities, and not a reporting about the money spent and the costs. That's what changed. But yes, there is still the possibility that in the end the Commission can come to you and there can be an audit within the 5 years after the finalizing of the project. Yes. Mm-hmm. Good. When we look at the European Cooperation Project objectives, then you can see here for objective 1, transnational creation and circulation, to strengthen the transnational creation and circulation of European works and artists. So, and that's very important, of course, within Creative Europe, bringing culture and art up to a European level and promote and support mobility of artists and works. And that can be from the level of the artists, of course, but also from the level of the organizations. Yes. And then the second one, innovation, to enhance the capacity of European cultural and creative sector to nurture talents, to innovate, to prosper, and to generate jobs and growth. So these are the general objectives. When it comes to priorities, then you can see here 5 priorities, and it comes back to the priorities of the program, of course. But these are then the specific priorities of the European cooperation projects. First of all, in terms of audience, to increase cultural access to and participation in culture. as well as audience engagement and development, both physically and digitally. So lower the threshold. So accessibility of culture, audience development, and that accessibility can be digitally. So that's the digital transition that plays a role, that can be a path that can be walked in this case, but also physically. So it's really about lowering the threshold and making culture accessible for all people. And also that is an element of inclusion. Yes. Social inclusion to promote societal resilience and to enhance social inclusion in through culture, in particular of disadvantaged groups, as well as intercultural dialogue and gender equality. So the social inclusion element, the disadvantaged groups and the gender equality, I think they're on every page in the call. So this is really, really an important element for culture to play a role in that, yeah, and for this program. Sustainability, I already mentioned it, to contribute to the European Green Deal and including the new European Bauhaus initiative by encouraging the European cultural and creative sector to co-create, adopt and disseminate more environmental friendly practices, as well as raise awareness on sustainable development through their cultural activity. So the role here of culture is double. Culture and so, yeah, all cultural practices, be it storytelling, be it music, be it sculpturing, visual art, whatever, can play a role in awareness raising towards sustainability, towards climate change, etc. On the other hand, there is also the request, how can we reduce, let's say, the footprint of cultural activities? So it's on a double level that this sustainability element plays. New technology to help the European cultural and creative sectors fully take advantage of new technologies, as well as to accelerate their digital transition. Of course, COVID has supported that. So the fact, of course, that for 1.5 years, the sector was supposed to work without direct audience. And of course, there have been many, many nice initiatives for online work in culture, also for online training in the cultural sector, etc. But here comes this, this new technology, these new competences, but not only technology, but also entrepreneurship, for instance. So for the artists and for the organizations that work within the cultural sector. And then the international dimension to build capacity within the European cultural and creative sectors, including grassroots organizations, to be active at the international level. So go abroad, learn abroad, be active abroad, produce in another country, perform in another country, create in another country, etc. So that's a very important element within these European project priorities. Good. What are the activities? I've taken the work packages templates within the call, and there the European Commission suggests a number of activities that should take place within a European cooperation project. And here you see that we're talking about communication, dissemination campaigns, promotional events, production of communication, dissemination material, etc. So that's one set of activities. These are examples given by the Commission themselves. But on the production and other set are rehearsals, preparation and artistic coordination of co-productions, co-creation, concerts, exhibitions, fairs, festivals, performances, literary translations, circulation of works and or repertoires, digitization of cultural heritage material, etc., which is another set of possible activities that you can do within these projects. Another set is artistic residencies. So this is the training element, of course. Artistic residencies, apprenticeship activities, mentoring programs, training courses, master classes, incubator programs, etc. And then there is the visibility set of activities, conferences, workshops, symposia, seminars, research, data management as well, studies, policy analysis, surveys, laboratories, market access activities, etc. So these are activities that are all possible within these projects. But then, as a next exercise, I looked at another set of activities. A couple of weeks ago, we had the General Assembly of the FEST International Network, and there we presented a survey. So we've done a survey within the FEST members, the storytellers, and there we had a question that if FEST should go for a new application, and I'm extending that. I'm extending that. If we are looking for new, applications, what kind of activities? And that was the question in the survey. What kind of activities would you see within a European application? I'm expanding it at this moment. So this is all written by FEST members, and of course it represents the needs that FEST members have, but also the opportunities that FEST members see within a European cooperation context. And here, I hope that you will see is when we look at the priorities that were presented, the priorities of the program and the priorities of the cooperation projects, I hope that you will be able to recognize that practically everything that is presented here by the FEST members as possible activities and themes for improvement, etc., fits within these priorities. So for FEST, we talk about recognition of storytelling, but also we talk about professional development and training of the storytellers, co-creation storytelling, co-creation of storytelling with other performances, for instance, dance or music, working with elderly people, storytelling as a didactic tool at school, storytelling and social impact, social responsibilities, inclusion, gender equality, cross-cultural cooperation. And we all know that storytelling can play an important role in that storytelling can play an important role in civic competences, in participation, etc. So storytelling and environment and sustainability, storytelling and heritage, multilingual storytelling, recognition of the art form, storytelling and civic participation, to create storytelling guilds, to build storytelling clubs, to exchange between the performer and to exchange between storytelling as a performing art and applied storytelling, to develop management competences for the sector, mentorship, competence-driven training, and of course we have a model for that, competence model-driven training, academic research, storytelling and the digital arts, storytelling and the digital media. So all these activities fit within the priorities. And we all see the sense of it, we all see the need of it, we all see the opportunities that are offered here within these themes. So I really think that storytelling can play a very important role in this, and that we are ready to fill in practically all the priorities that are set within the program and within the action. Yes, okay, this is about storytelling, this is about cooperation projects. As you know, there are other activities, but I will not go as deep as in these actions, as the previous one, because I think the cooperation projects are more open, are smaller, and there will be more, because here the first thing what you already can see, the next action is funding for European networks, and the Commission expects to approve 30 of them, about 30 of them. Of course, they look at the budget and they look at the cost, and then they say, we will probably approve around 30 networks. Networks are a lot bigger, and networks, by the way, and I immediately go down in the slide, represents what is called a single beneficiary application. What does that mean? In the cooperation projects, that is a multiple beneficiary application, meaning that there are several partners in the application. And the partners create a consortium and the partners apply for a cooperation project. In a Creative Europe network, it's the network as an organization that applies. So, and then I go back to the top of the slide. You already have to be a network in order to be able to apply for a network funding. As is FEST. FEST is nowadays a reasonably big network. We have 90 partner organizations in 26 countries. So, and we will apply, of course, for the next network funding. At this moment, I have to say that in the past, in the previous program period, 2014-21, there was a, then the condition for network application was, I think, you had to be, you already had to be a network with at least 15 members in, I think, 6 or 7 different countries in order to be able to apply for funding. Now, they don't give a figure anymore. You have to be a highly representative multi-country membership-based network in order to apply for network funding. So now they simply say you have to be big and important before you can apply. In the past, they said you had to have 15 members in 6 countries before you can apply. So now I think they build up the stakes, of course, because yeah, what does it mean? Highly representative, multi-country, etc. Anyway, you have to be a big and important network already before you can apply for network funding, because you have to be highly representative. And in a number of countries, so they also look at the geographical spreading, where they cover a wide range of Creative Europe participating countries. And then they say networks must have a shared mission, governance rules, and members' rights and obligations as formally specified and agreed upon by its members. There should be a coordinating entity. So if you look at the FEST network, of course, we have that. We have all of that. The money here is maximum 825,000 euro for 36 months. So this is a 3-year, this is a fixed date, and 80% of the budget, and it's 30% pre-financing to get the grant. So that is what European networks are. So, and that's a big difference, and it's a lot more difficult, of course, to get in. But I will inform you anyway, because then you may realize what a network is, what FEST is, and what FEST is applying for by the way, the 26th of August. So what is the objective, or what are the objectives of the European network? So to enhance the capacity of European cultural and creative sectors to face common challenges and nurture talents, innovate, prosper, and generate jobs and growth. But I think it will be more concrete when we look at the priorities. So a network is supposed to increase cultural access to and participation in culture, as well as audience engagement and development. So increase cultural access, build the capacity to be active at international level in Europe and beyond, contribute to the Green Deal again, and to help the European cultural and creative sectors to fully take advantage of new technologies to enhance their competitiveness. So these are the network priorities. I'm going to look, So what are the activities? Networking of organizations and individuals, meet and exchange. So, you know, that's what we do. That's what we try to do within FEST. So we're supposed to network. Of course, what does it mean? We should promote and support meeting and exchanging of the member organizations and individuals in the sector. Another element is training and providing advice to professionals, building the capacities of artists and other cultural and creative professionals. Capacity building and training is also something that we have done in the past, and we will continue to do in the future if our application is approved. Representing the sectors and advocate on their behalf on key sectoral issues, collecting and disseminating data, information, practices, ideas, and solutions, and then communication and dissemination. So these are the activities that networks are supposed to do. These are networks. There is another type of organization which is of a network type, but it's called platforms. And by the way, I think I forgot the figure, but the European platforms, there will be about 11, 12. So this is bigger, and in terms of success rate for an application, a lot lower. Yes. What is the difference between a platform and a network? A platform works a lot more on visibility, works more on European level activities like prizes and so on. And you will love it, but a bigger part of the money goes directly to the artists. So it's really about supporting emerging artists, mobility, visibility, big scale and European level activities. That's what a European platform is supposed to do. They have a lot of money, but as I already said, there are a lot less platforms than there are. And this, by the way, is it's not like a network, but it's also a single beneficiary application, meaning that there is a coordinator and the organization or the consortium should have minimum 11 members. So that's the European platform. And then I go down now, because as I said, there are cooperation projects, there are networks, there are platforms, and there is individual mobility support in a brand new program, a brand new action that is called Opportunus. And it's about, it offers travel costs and daily allowances for individual artists. It's small. Look at the bottom. We're talking about maximum 3,000 euro per person, but it's an individual grant. So it's not, it's double. Sorry, I have to correct myself. It's double. So Opportunus funds short-term mobilities for individuals to go abroad or for hosts to attract international talent for working, performing, co-producing in different countries. So there are two sides to the coin in this case. There are individual artists saying, I would like to work in another country, in another organization. And I would like to perform there. I would like to work there. I would like to learn there. I would like to co-produce there or co-create there. I would like to stay there. Then that artist can get money for it. Money, travel costs and daily allowances for up to 3,000 euro. And it's also, I think, I don't know it by heart, for about 1 month or 1.5 months maximum duration. On the other side, there are organizations saying, I would like to invite an artist and come to my organization and work here. We have this plan, we would like to produce this, and we'd like to have input from artists from abroad. And that can be even there are group combinations possible. So an organization can say, I would like to have 5 artists and coming from 5 different countries, and they can come and work in my organization and produce this. Both parties have to present an application and have to create a plan for it. So the artist and the organization, they have to prepare a plan. This is brand new, and at this moment it is in a pilot phase. Yes, the Goethe Institute and the European Cultural Foundation, they are piloting this. So there have been already calls, but it is on a limited scale, and they are in a way testing the program, and it will be fully operational in 2022. So I think it's clear. It's a program that is called Opportunus. Mid-2022, it will be operational, and I think it's a very interesting program for both organizations and for individual artists, for individual mobility of artists. So these are the 4 actions that I would like to present to you, all part of the cultural program. Now, of course, there is the question of applications. And I have to admit, it is not easy. So as an individual as an individual, it is very difficult. So I think you need, at least in the consortium that you create, you at least need 1 or 2 stronger organizations with the potential to apply, to be the coordinator and to apply. Even if I look at individual storytellers, even self-employed people, I think you can be part of an application. You can participate in an application, or you can approach an organization and talk about the role that storytelling and you can play in certain projects. Yes, so there are several possibilities here. I'm talking bigger project. I'm not talking about iPortunus, of course. Yes. So here you see the deadlines for the applications. For networks, it's very soon. I mean, it's in 2 months from now, 26th of August. For the cooperation project, it's the 7th of September. And for the platforms is the 29th of September. As a partner, I'm talking about an official partner in the consortium, in the application. You need to register. And you need what is called in Creative Europe still called a PIC. So it's an identification code. So that's something you have to do online. It's also a bit of a complicated organ, but the bigger organizations know their way in it. There are guidelines to help you register, but you need to register and you need to have a PIC. All application forms are online, so there is no paperwork, so it's paperless. But of course, there is a model of the application form that you can download, an application template, and you can work on that. But all material, all texts, all data must be put in online. It's also important to indicate that every country has a national Creative Europe Culture Desk. Yes, and they are supposed to help you. So you simply have to look at National Creative Europe Culture Desk, put it in Google, and you will find the Culture Desk in your country. They offer you all the official links to the application forms. They probably will have in the next couple of days also an online information session. For instance, here in Flanders, we have information session by our Europe Culture Desk on the 30th of June and the 1st of July. It will take place in your country as well. So if you want more information, hear it again, specific information, the right links, then you might approach them, contact them, and find out where. Of course, and I talked to Kati, and she will tell you a bit more later, with FEST and on the FEST website, we will try to offer a kind of a partner finding tool. Kati will talk to you, because of course, you cannot do this alone. You need partners, probably not partners within FEST only. Yes, if you talk about projects, you have to also look at outside FEST consortium, the FEST network, outside storytelling world, and where can we go for this type of projects, this type of activities. So that's an exercise and a brainstorm you have to do, but we will try to help you in this. So with a tool for ideas, raising ideas, and offering contact possibilities. The Creative Europe program, of course, has a website, and all applications nowadays must go through the EU Funding and Tenders portal, where you find this link. And by the way, Kati will send this presentation to all of you. And here you can find the link to a video tutorial on entering, on applying, and so and this online manual, a resource for applicants and selected projects. I think this is my last slide. Yes, it is. So this is it. This is my presentation. I guess there will be many questions.
I will get them to you if you want them.
But yeah, my question is, shall we give the floor to Paola first?
I think because these are quite practical questions, we should do the questions first and then go to Paola.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Okay.
So because one of the questions is from Paola herself.
Good. Yeah.
I'm trying to find it again. Yes. Will there be no financial reporting at all, was the question, because of the lump sums again?
The answer is, what should I say, no or yes? Yes, there will be no financial reporting at all. Yeah. But the Commission immediately said, of course, for national purposes, for your own eligibility and for your own financial check, you will have to do, you will have to do your own financial reporting for internal and for your own eligibility rules. But the European Commission only asks a report on and proof, report and proof of the activities that you've done. That means the deliverables. So what did you prove to deliver? This is an activity, that's what we're going to do, and this is the product that comes out. Of course, you need proof of the products. You need proof of, for instance, your travel, perhaps pictures that you've been there, the video or this, etc. So you need proof of your activities, but you do not need proof of the costs. Okay.
Next question is this just one call in the whole 7 years, or will there be more?
There will be, for the cooperation projects, there will be a call every year in the 7 years. So there will be one in 2022, 23, etc., etc. At this moment, they're late. So the call now was launched on the 8th of June, which is, of course, very late. In the previous program, the first call came in December before the start of the program. Now they're half a year late. They, at this moment, are unable to say when in 2022 the next call will come. It can be February, March. I suppose it will be earlier than June, because now they were really late. Yes, but for the cooperation projects, there will be a call for every year, not for the networks. The networks will have a 3-year term in the first part of the 7 years and a 4-year term in the second part. So there are only 2 calls for networks. And there are also, I think, only two calls for the platforms. I don't know about iPortunus. That's new and it's not set yet. Yes, but for the cooperation, I think that's the main part every year.
For iPortunus, there's this call out now for a few days.
Yes. I mean, yeah, the deadline is, I think, the 30th of June.
Yeah, the 30th of June. I have sent the link to our website and to the iPortunus website in the chat, so you can take a look at it.
So the deadline is very soon, by the way, yes. But it's still open. But it's, I think, sorry, I don't think it's for storytelling.
It's a houses call. It's actually the houses call, so it's for hosts. If you want.
It's for hosts. Oh yes, yes. It's for host organizations.
Yes.
But the previous calls by Goethe was for music and design and for heritage. For heritage. So and there was nothing in like for performing art or something like that.
Correct.
So that's. I don't know how it's going to work. iPortunus, will it be sectorial per sector? I mean, and so that's not clear yet. But yes.
Rien asks if iPortunus is open for UK, but I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't think so.
No.
I'm very sorry. But again, what I said in the beginning. Oh, sorry, I can't answer the question. As I said in the beginning, as a legal entity, as an organization, a UK-based legal entity or organization cannot be an official partner in a project. That's all I can say. Opportunus deals with individuals, but I don't think that Europe will directly give funding to a UK citizen at this moment. I don't think so, but I do know that that when it comes to European projects and activities within project or FEST, you have an answer?
Yes, it's Heidi just posted it. I was looking for the text.
Okay.
It says plus UK, so they are still
okay.
in.
Good, very good. Sorry, yeah, that was unclear to me, but that's very good. So there is an answer. UK is involved in Opportunus, and individuals can have. Okay, thank you. Yep.
Yes,
next question.
It was in my own text, so it's actually.
Good.
No, that's it for now. So I think we can go to Paola's presentation.
Okay, then I will stop sharing. Yes, thank you.
Paola, the floor is completely yours.
Thank you. And good evening, everyone. I felt it will be relevant to share something about our experience as coordinators of a Creative Europe cooperation project. And the perspective I'm talking from is a small scale organization and small scale grant. So I think that is very different what it means to coordinate and to be part of, can you hear me well? Yeah, good. Of a cooperation project if you are a small organization or a big organization. So what I'm talking about is what it means for artist-based small scale organization. It means Raccontami una storia, our organization, is an organization made of artists for artists. So it means also all the administration work, all the financial aspect of the job, everything is performed by artists like myself and David, that you well know, that know the skills of organizing and running a company as well. So our partners were also small-scale organization. One was Beyond the Border and the other one Musik Theater Unna. We applied for 2018 Year of Cultural Heritage call for a special 2 years project within the small scale frame, so the one that Guy showed us first, up to 200,000 euros, but we applied for the minimum possible, which means 60,000 euros grant for 100,000 turnover of the project. As Guy mentioned before, and this is very good news, in the last call, even small organizations had to provide 40% of co-financing, which was quite a big job for organizations of our scale. For example, among our 3 partners, we had to raise 40,000 euros in order to apply for the 60,000 that we asked for. So before I get into this aspect of the co-financing, etc., let me tell you what is the benefit for a small-scale organization to embark in what seems like a big job, such as coordinating and being part of a Creative Europe grant. Everything that you do in your country and everything you have done before immediately becomes on a larger scale and becomes visible for the rest of not only Europe, but I would say for the rest of the world. Because, for example, you can manage your budget even for other activities better. Let's take our case. Raccontami una Storia and Beyond the Border are already existing festivals for many years. But what we could do with the Creative Europe was to invest the national budget coming from our Art Council, for example, to pay our national artists and extra European artists. And then we invested the Creative Europe Cooperation money to pay European artists. So this was a great bonus, because an outcome that you could not expect is this allowed us to actually have also extra European artists, because we could invest the money we already had in expanding our festivals. Then our actions were mainly focused on three directions: festivals, performances, artistic residencies, and training. One advice that I would give to small organizations applying for a Creative Europe project is to try and make the best of the money you are asking for. Show them that you can do a lot, that you are good value for money. When I went to the first meeting in Berlin after the assessment of our project, they read to us the comments of the Commission about our projects. And the positive score we got was for fair fees for artists. So the majority of our budget was directed into paying artists. Then a big number of mobilities, which we carried out, and a big variety of actions. And I would say, with a Creative Europe, dream big, dream what you have always dreamt and you could not achieve before. For example, one project we had with Beyond the Border for many years and could never make it happen was the storytelling boat. We hired a sailing boat and we sailed. So this also is a very green activity. We sailed with no engine on from harbor to harbor in Wales, and in each village we performed in the local theater and for the local schools. So we did a great team bonding activity by sailing together, 6 or 7 storytellers. We did it 2 years in a row. And then in each place we performed for the general audience, and we also welcomed the schools on the boat, and we performed in the harbor square or in the harbor theater. What you can also do is to propose your activities, to propose storytelling activities in already existing festivals. In Sweden, for example, we, for the first time, we proposed to the Stockholm Municipality Festival to have international story walks. So before, the only people who performed in story walks in the Stockholm Municipality Festival were Swedish storytellers. But with our Creative Europe, we supported the presence of Italian and British storytellers as well into a pre-existing activity. Another thing that can happen is that somehow the grant multiplies itself, because if you are a winner of a, I say a winner because I believe this is what to be, if you win a Creative Europe project, you immediately become trustworthy for your own government, your own art council, and other possible private sponsors or partners. As a matter of fact, eventually we raised more than the 40,000 co-financing money that we could invest in other activities and extra activities that were part of our project. Now, let's say, what are the challenges for a small organization like us. The first two points that Guy mentioned before, financial capacity and co-financing. If you apply for a grant, they have to prove your financial capacity. What does it mean? It means that in our case, the director of our bank had to write a recommendation letter to the agency stating that we never went overdraft, that we managed the grants that we already had in an honest way, that we had received grants before and we had proven able to manage money, chunks of money similar to the one we were asking. For example, if you want to be the coordinator, you have to prove that in your own country, you have managed budget similar to the one you're asking. If this is not the case, then it's better that you ask to another organization that you know has a bigger financial capacity to be the coordinator. But as Guy pointed out, it's very important and good news for the small organizations that cooperation projects are multi-beneficiary grants. And this makes a huge difference. It means if the cooperation is good and stable, you are not alone to manage it. It means that the spokesperson is the coordinator, but in a good project that works well, all partners collaborate under every aspect. And this is essential, especially for small organizations. So in our case, we were constantly in touch and constantly collaborating under all points of view, including the administration work, the paperwork, the financial capacity. We helped each other, even with how to ask a bank statement, and simple things as this. And from this derives, in my opinion and my experience, is very important to embark in a Creative Europe project only with partners that you have known for many years already and you can trust. And this was the case. We went for Beyond the Border and Musiktheater Unna because we had a history of 10 years collaboration with one and 5 years collaboration with the other. And we were adamantly sure that we had the same vision, because trust is not only based on how fair or honest an organization can be, because I guess we're all pretty serious organization, but trust has also to do with having the same vision of the art. And as you know, there is a great diversity of vision amongst the storytelling organizations. So for example, we went for 2 other organizations that are very performing oriented, because this is our call. And the partnership worked also because we chose organizations that were on the same track. Another challenge is grant application. As Guy mentioned, it's not easy to fill in a grant application for a Creative Europe. But truth to be said, our grant application was done by myself and Mattia Di Piero, here with us, sitting in the same house for 15 days, full time, and full time it means 23 hours a day and not 8 hours a day. At the end, our brain was exploding. Meanwhile, during that hours, the other partners were very often connected with Skype at the time. That was before the Zoom era, or WhatsApp messages. And the challenging aspect, I don't know if this application is the same, was the cross questions. So in the grant application that is very long, it kind of asks you the same thing several times over. And you have to rephrase the activities that you want to do and how you want to perform it in many different ways. Now, I don't know why it is so, but we got the idea it's to kind of cross-check that your ideas are really clear. So my advice is, before you go for an application, sit with your partners and have clear ideas about what you want to do. Because a vague idea is not a winning idea, and it will prove very difficult to put into practice later. And now, challenge of most challenge. We were 100% satisfied of our Creative Europe project. Our activities were spotless, delivered exactly as described in the grant call, and we were very proud of this. We had difficulties, and by difficulties things can happen in a number of years, like a Creative Europe call. For example, people had babies, so artists that were meant to be in a certain place in a certain month couldn't do that because their baby was coming to the world. So what to do? Show must go on. We hired another artist from the same country, or if not possible, from the other partner country. And here cooperation was fundamental. For example, when we had a problem like, oh, an artist is unavailable, what did we do? We sorted out with our partners. So we asked to another partner organization to find a same level artist to send to the country that was organizing the activity. Financially, being a three small organization, how could we prove this financial capacity? So the kickstart was that in Raccontami una Storia that year, we had a grant already signed for 27,000 euros. The Swedish partner had another small grant for 6,000 euros. And Beyond the Border had another grant for 15,000 to start with. So we were asked to send the papers stating that we already got this money, because this is necessary to say, the smaller you are, the more they will ask you to prove that you can really manage the budget. But we did all of that and everything went great. The only problem was that when the balance payment was due, 1st of February 2019, it did not come. So we were out of 18,000 euros and they paid us with a year delay. So that was a problem, a big problem for us. And this is something that now we would take into consideration for next application, to make sure that if this happens, we have a saving net somehow, because this was pretty scary. But the very good news is what Guy said, there's no need for financial report. This is a very good news and we are happy about it. And somehow we like to think we contributed to this as well with our experience. When we went to the first meeting, we found out that there were only 2 projects run by small scale organizations such as us. Only 2 within the whole cooperation projects were super small scale projects below 60,000 euros. But the amount of paperwork we were asked to deliver was the same as for the 2 million project. So that was really a killer. And I'm so happy this is gone. And to have, guys, I think go for it, because if all you have to prove is that you really deliver the activities, once you have a very stable and very clear plan, this is not difficult to do. Actually, our artistic report was great with more than 400 pictures, activity by activity. We managed to do more than 40 activities overall. So there were a lot of pictures and videos and films, but this time what they focused the most was the financial report. And what was very frustrating in the year delay was that it seemed like they paid no attention to the artistic quality of the project, but only to the paperwork. And I'm very happy to learn that now it will not be so. By the way, all went that end well. We were asked to redo the financial report, which was a great stress. We had to work 2 extra months unpaid in order to get our balance payment. But after we received the interest for that and 2 apology letters stating that actually they should have not questioned our project in the first place, and therefore we were entitled to receive interest for the time lost. So that was about our experience. I'm sorry I couldn't share some pictures, but if Katie agrees, I will send a little slideshow just to show you what you can do and the variety of activities you can do with a Creative Europe project. And she can send it to you with the slides of this meeting.
Thank you, Paola. Great. Is there anyone who has some questions about this presentation? I see hand claps, I see thumbs up. I see, thank you, this was very inspiring. No questions?
Oh, can I say one more thing, very important?
Of course, of course.
Okay, this is an unwritten rule, but I would strongly recommend it. Always have all your papers in English. Whatever you're allowed to do, you are allowed to do the application in your own language, very likely. Do not do it. And the reason is, if there is a problem like we had, you want your paper to be read by people above the agent of your project or the people dealing with your project in the first place. If you feel your project has been unfairly treated, you want people in a higher position to help you. And if you have your paper in your own language only, the people you will relate with will be only the person who speaks your own language. So my advice is always fill all the papers in English and always keep all the communication in English in order to be understandable for everyone.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay, so I will, what we've done, so Guy already said, or did all the explanation about the technical stuff, and then the idea has risen, how will we now share this with everybody and how will everybody be able to cooperate with each other? Well, we've thought of the most simple tool ever, which is called Jamboard, and I'm going to share my screen and go really quick and go through it really quickly. Wow, you see above. So brainstorm and partner finding tool. In the first page, I've just put a few helpful things in. If you want to have, if you want to scroll through the pages, you just click the arrows. If you want to add a sticky note, you click this icon, which is right over here, and then you get this. You can choose your colors or say no color at all. Write your text in here and it appears. If you wish to just add a text area logically, you can click and then do something and done. If you want to add a picture, you use this, and then you can choose a way to add a picture. These are the simplest things. What we have done now, I have quickly added all the teams that Guy has already pulled out of the survey. So those are teams that most people were very interested in, and that they told us within the FEST survey. So I've created them here. If you, for instance, have an idea on recognition, you can easily go and make a new page. So you just click an arrow, you get a new page, and you can make this sticky note here with the new team and then add your ideas. Other people can contribute, but Arjen has been so lovely to already start one brainstorm session. And maybe, Arjen, it's good if you just shortly explain it.
Well, on the request of Kati, I put my avatar there. But furthermore, this is a project we would like to examine, explore if it's possible. It's part of our Pegasus project. So we want to use Greek myth to come to personal stories. So a combination of Greek myth and personal stories, and we want to combine that into a performance with a DJ, what I wrote very clearly. So really a performance made by young storytellers only, and really try to get the Greek myth and to make a very contemporary version of that. And we would like to do that in an European context. So what I wrote here already is we are looking for partners for collaboration. So partners who work with young storytellers or with a DJ. But we are also looking for partners for presentation, and we want to connect a lot to this, including an educational project, but also in the because of the digitalization, see how we can maybe already make clips that can, we're trying that now in another project as well, making clips, broadcast them as well, also in dissemination, etc. Of course, the project is not completely there yet, but that's why we need partners to think about it. Mm-hmm. So if you are interested, just put it on the Jamboard, your name and maybe already what you want to bring in. And indeed, it's very important, Kati just told me, to put your name there so that we can contact you, because this is a partner search. So and others, so this is a project I have in mind. So others can make such projects on other pages. So if you just click on 4, we have already 6 pages, so we have 3 empty pages. Just put all the things like a brainstorm over there, and as the project owner, I think the project owners, so the people who start the page, will take a look and will contact you, etc., etc. That's a bit my explanation, Kati.
Great. So indeed, I think it's the easiest way is to start a proposal, add your contacts, and if you're interested in a proposal, you can also just add a sticky note, add your contacts, and everybody will be able to see it. So only share what you want people to see, because everybody who has the link will be able to see this. Another solution would be, if you want to stay anonymous, is to just email the person who started the page. And then you don't have to share all your details on this page.